Europe is at a crossroads. The continent faces a confluence of challenges, each compounding the others. From economic stagnation to social unrest, the European project is under strain. Public trust in the EU has plummeted to a mere 47%. Euroscepticism is on the rise, fueled by a sense that the EU is out of touch with ordinary citizens. The EU's economic engine has sputtered, with growth lagging behind other global powers. The single currency has become a straitjacket for some member states, particularly those in southern Europe. The question is no longer whether Europe is in crisis, but whether this crisis can be overcome. One of the most pressing challenges facing Europe is the issue of immigration. The continent has seen an unprecedented influx of people seeking refuge from war, persecution, and economic hardship. The arrival of millions of migrants in recent years has strained social services and fueled cultural tensions. Schools, hospitals, and housing systems are struggling to keep up with the increased demand. While some argue that immigration is essential for economic growth, others contend that it has overwhelmed the capacity of European societies to integrate newcomers. The debate is often heated, with strong opinions on both sides. Germany, for example, has taken in a disproportionate share of refugees, while other countries have been more reluctant to open their borders. This uneven distribution has created significant political friction. This has led to accusations of hypocrisy and a lack of solidarity within the EU. Critics argue that a unified approach is necessary to address the crisis effectively. Language barriers, cultural differences, and discrimination have made it difficult for many newcomers to find jobs, housing, and a sense of belonging. These challenges are compounded by legal and bureaucratic hurdles. This has contributed to social exclusion and, in some cases, fueled crime and unrest. The rise in tensions has been palpable in many urban areas. Younger generations, more accustomed to diversity, tend to be more welcoming of immigration than their elders. They see the potential for a richer, more inclusive society. This generational gap is reflected in voting patterns, with younger voters more likely to support parties that favor open borders. Their influence is growing as they become a larger portion of the electorate. Addressing these challenges requires a comprehensive approach that balances compassion with concerns about security and social cohesion. Policymakers must navigate a complex landscape of competing interests and values. Failure to do so risks further polarizing European society. The stakes are high, and the future of Europe's social fabric hangs in the balance. Europe is witnessing a clash of values that threatens to unravel the fabric of its societies. This clash is not just a political or social issue, but a deeply personal one for many Europeans. On one hand, there's the secular liberalism that has long been the bedrock of the European project, promoting values of freedom, equality, and human rights. On the other hand, there's a resurgence of nationalism and religious conservatism, fueled by anxieties about immigration and cultural change. These anxieties are often exacerbated by economic uncertainties and social inequalities. In France, the principle of laïcité, or secularism, is enshrined in the constitution, yet the country has witnessed growing tensions over the wearing of religious symbols in public spaces. This has sparked debates about individual freedoms versus collective identity. In Germany, the government's promotion of multiculturalism has been met with resistance from those who fear the loss of German culture and values. This fear is often rooted in historical experiences and a desire to preserve a sense of national identity. The rise of social media has further amplified these divisions, creating echo chambers where extreme views can flourish. These platforms can both connect and divide, making it harder to find common ground. The challenge for Europe is to find a way to accommodate diversity while upholding its core values of tolerance, respect, and the rule of law. This balancing act is crucial for the future of the continent. This will require a renewed commitment to dialogue, education, and civic engagement. Only through these efforts can Europe hope to bridge its divides and build a more inclusive society. Section 4. Regional rifts, economic disparities, and the ghosts of austerity. The European Union, for all its aspirations of unity, remains a continent divided. Despite the shared currency and open borders, the economic realities vary drastically from one region to another. While Western European nations like Germany and France enjoy relatively high standards of living, many Southern and Eastern European countries continue to lag behind. This disparity is evident in the quality of infrastructure, healthcare and education. The austerity measures imposed on countries like Greece and Italy in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis have left a legacy of resentment and anger. These measures, intended to stabilize economies, often resulted in deep social and economic scars. This resentment has fueled the rise of populist parties who exploit public anger at the perceived injustices of the EU. These parties promise to address the grievances of those who feel left behind. Bridging this economic divide is essential if the EU is to survive and thrive. The vision of a united Europe cannot be realized without addressing these fundamental inequalities. This will require a commitment to investment in education, infrastructure and innovation, particularly in those regions that have fallen behind. Only through such targeted efforts can the gap be closed. Failure to address these disparities risks further fracturing the EU. The future of the European Union depends on its ability to create a more balanced and equitable economic landscape for all its member states. Section 5. The Green Delusion: Environmental aspirations collide with reality. Europe prides itself on being a global leader in the fight against climate change. The EU has set ambitious targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and investing in renewable energy. However, the reality on the ground often falls short of these lofty aspirations. Despite some progress, Europe remains heavily reliant on fossil fuels. The recent spate of extreme weather events has exposed the continent's vulnerability to the impacts of climate change. The EU's flagship climate policy, the European Green Deal, has been praised for its ambition but criticized for its complexity and lack of clear implementation plans. Europe's green ambitions are commendable, but they must be matched by concrete action and a willingness to make difficult choices.